I'm getting you some more updates coming in right now. After Netanyahu, Pentagon denounces warrant. Pentagon expresses concerns over arrest warrant. Pentagon says ICC does not have the jurisdiction for this move. And we have a reaction coming in from the US. Let's go ahead and play it out.
Let me just say more broadly that we fundamentally reject the court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israel officials. We remain deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. You've heard us say this before. Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none.
We remain concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and, some of the processes that this has played out in. And again, we've been very clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter.
All right, we've been joined once more by a guest who's joining us live, Daniel Boardman, senior journalist, once again joining us live from Toronto, Canada. Thank you for joining us here once again. This time we'll talk about the US's reaction on this warrant that the ICC has issued for Netanyahu, his former defense minister, Hamas leader, as well, Mohammed Deif. Now we know that US and Israel are quite close and they are allies. But do you think that this is the correct move by the US? Because we've seen that, Pentagon, US, they have really condemned crimes and criminal activity or wars in the past. They've always tried to mediate.
Well, of course, this is this is the right move from the Americans, and I'll throw Argentina into it and the nations. This is a travesty, a farce, an absolute ludicrous declaration of the ICC. There is no evidence of Israel committing genocide. The population of Gaza has increased the last year of this war. It is an urban war where Hamas is using human shields. There's still over 100 hostages remaining, and the casualty rate of civilian to combatant in this war is the lowest on record. We have wars raging across Syria and Sudan with higher death casualties, where you actually do have intentions of genocide, and you do have leaders talking about extermination. This is an utter farce from a corrupt ICC who's in bed with global powers that are either aligned with communist or Islamist worldviews, and you saw the complete corruption of judicial process in the international community throughout the entire thing. Most of the stories coming out come from some arm of Hamas, right? All the numbers that this is all based off are all from Hamas. Gaza Ministry of Health is Hamas. This is all from Hamas officials and in-house UN terrorist organizations like UNRWA, and we just saw Philip Lazi, head of the EU, was meeting with other terrorist leaders. This is a complete travesty of the concept of international law. The U.S. is completely right that they don't even have jurisdiction. This is a claim made against a non-member state from another non-member entity to a place where, and the ICC only applies where, in cases where they say that there isn't a judicial system to hold the state to account. But that's ludicrous, as Netanyahu himself is going through a judicial process right now from the Israeli court system. There's a separate prosecution of him on another silly trumped-up charge, but still, it shows if the Israeli court's willing to try Netanyahu for a $10,000 gifts over 5 years to a company that was involved in media, okay, you can't prove that it doesn't have a functioning court system that holds the government to account. So no part of this is internationally valid, and this is the problem with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the talking head media international law thing is. Anyone who brings up international law has no idea what international law states, and none of the countries that are accused of violating international law are actually violating the laws of international law. But they're the countries that are willing to sit there and take the abuse by a bunch of corrupt lawyers and bureaucrats.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Boardman, a senior journalist from Canada, on the story on the biggest international developments. We're taking a very short break right now.